Ladies and gentlemen, hey hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. This week was a pretty interesting one for Modern Warfare and Warzone, as we saw not one, not two, but three different updates go live, starting with the initial playlist update that introduced things like Demolition and also the new Mace bundle in the store. Then we had a small update to nerf the snakeshots, amongst other things. And then we also had another mini update to add in some new modes and adjust some gameplay mechanics over in Warzone. And on top of that, we also got even more information on the next big update, which is presumably Title Update 1.21, which should be coming to the game here in the near future. So today we're covering all of this and then some. So if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you are new to the channel, I am always covering the latest news, intel, updates, leaks, you name it. Pretty much everything Call of Duty, you're gonna find it right here on the channel. So feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on to stay on top of all of that stuff. Now, starting with the present, we'll be talking about some of the mini changes that we saw implemented this week. Then, as we get through the timeline, we'll make it to the future content that we know is coming to the game that was teased and previewed recently a bit later on into the video. So, starting back on Thursday, we actually saw a smaller update go live that nerfed the snakeshots all across the board, as they rebalanced the damage and fixed a bug where the long distance damage was too high. Then they also reduced the fire delay on the lightweight and match grade triggers. They fixed some issues with game battles, they fixed some exploits for ground war infected and various vehicles, and they also made these smoke challenges a bit more forgiving, including the unlock for the brand new Bruin MK9, which according to WhosImmortal, that challenge will now track if you or the enemy is in smoke, not just you, like the challenge initially required. But, as I said, that was only the first smaller update of the week, or second if you want to count the playlist update from Tuesday. But this next update actually had some pretty interesting surprises included in it. So, we saw the addition of Battle Royale Stimulus solos, and in the Stimulus mode, when a player dies, there is no gulag whatsoever. The only way you can come back into the match is if you have 4,500 cash on you, which of course is the equivalent to one buyback in squad modes. And by default, when you spawn in, you do have 4,500 cash right away. And whenever you die, you actually drop 50% of the cash you have on you, which means going for kills is actually going to allow you to keep respawning more and more, since obviously you'll be able to loot that cash drop for every time you take a player out. So literally in this mode, it does pay to be aggressive. Now, they also reduced the height and radius at which parachuting enemies are called out in Warzone. So basically for this change, you won't be able to hear when an enemy is dropping in on your location as easily anymore, as the radius for that voiceover to activate, alongside the height for it, has now been made smaller. They also added the helicopters back into the game, so this means that the exploit where the helicopters could be glitched under the map has been fixed. That was likely the vehicle exploit referenced in the first update that we talked about. And then, over in multiplayer, they made Shipment 24/7 a 10v10 playlist, and they also added in 3v3 gunfight knives only. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm sure 3v3 gunfight is plenty fun with knives, but 10v10 Shipment is where all the action is going to be now. It is basically the perfect place for unlocking obsidian faster, leveling up quick, destroying your KD, all things of that nature, you know? So be sure to take advantage of everything the 10v10 Chaos offers while it lasts. As of now, we're not really sure when Shipment 10v10 will be replaced. If I had to guess, it'll probably be on Tuesday with the new playlist refresh, but we can't really be sure until the day comes. Then, another smaller update that went out later yesterday was a fix to the Battle Pass appearing inactive or locked for players who have already purchased it. Keep in mind though, this was just a visual bug, so all your tracking and unlocks still worked fine throughout the issue, but that has since been resolved. So if you do own the pass for this season, it should now properly display as such. So that's all fine and dandy, right? But now we get into the meat and potatoes for the day, the upcoming updates, the upcoming content and changes we can expect to see in the coming weeks. As of right now, we know that Season 4 is set to start on June 2nd, that is when the Battle Pass for Season 3 is going to end according to the countdown timer, and unless anything comes up, any delays or other problems, June 2nd is going to be the official launch date for Season 4. So presumably, we are going to have a big title update either coming this Tuesday on the 12th or on the following Tuesday on the 19th. Seeing as we don't typically have larger updates on back-to-back weeks, And since we know Season 4 will have a new title update associated with it, we can basically rule out the 26th for a larger update. I mean, it's not impossible, but I would say it is highly unlikely. Anyways, coming up here in probably the next 10 days or so, we've got what apparently is going to be the actual mid-season update. And I know you're sitting there with that Kit Kat bar in your hand going, hold up, we already had the mid-season update. And I'm sitting here saying, yeah, well, according to WhosImmortal, no, we didn't. Because when he was asked when Hardhat was going to be coming to the game, he said, mid-season update. I'm excited. So, I guess the first mid-season update that we had with the Obsidian camo and the Frankensmithing or Gunsmith Customs feature was not actually the mid-season update, or it was just part 1. Now we're getting the sequel, I guess you could say. I don't know, kind of weird phrasing there, but the important thing to note is that Hardhat is coming in the next big update. Of course, Hardhat is a classic map from MW3. It was definitely a top tier map back in the day in my own opinion. I'm certainly excited to play on it some more, especially some Drop Zone. That's always a classic there. But that's not all for this next big update. We also know that this patch is going to include some more weapon tuning as well, and while we don't know the full extent of all of it, we do know the RPG is going to get nerfed in this next update. WhosImmortal initially teased that back when he previewed the nerf for the snakeshots. Then Amos Hodge also said that the RPG is specifically going to get a damage balance pass soon, meaning it's likely not going to be as strong against players, and honestly we don't know if it's going to be nerfed against vehicles, but players I would assume is the primary target for that pass as it stands. Now, there was another pretty interesting tweet from WhosImmortal that could provide even more insight into this weapon tuning pass, but really, I don't know if it's him joking or if he's actually being serious about it. But either way, Fwiz tweeted Joe thanking him for nerfing the Akimbo snakeshots, then he said he'd be equipping his Akimbo Renettis and C4 from here on out. And to this, Joe replied, "Eyes Akimbo Renettis." And this obviously implies that Joe and the team are now going to watch the stats on the Akimbo Renettis and see if they are in fact due for a little nerf as well. Now, like I said, this could just be a simple joke, it could be the real deal, really, I'm not too sure. I definitely think the snakeshots were far stronger than the Renettis are now, but as far as pistols go, the Renettis are still pretty good. And I don't know if that's necessarily the pistol themselves or the fact that you can just run Akimbo. But either way, we shall find out the fate of the Renettis soon enough. Now, outside of all of that, there is still a few things that we should point out that have yet to be mentioned that we know are coming to the game during Season 3. So the gunfight map of Isle 9 is also set to release in season, and we have yet to hear when exactly that'll be coming to the game. My guess would either be right alongside Hardhat in the mid-season update sequel, or in the final week of the season to ensure some content is still there to round out the season in general. But that is something we certainly need to keep an eye out for. So is Iskra. She was actually glitched a few days back where you could buy her for like 30 minutes, but that has since been patched. However, we do know she is coming soon as well. Then we also have the Warzone content of "and more," which pretty much just refers to new game modes. And of course, we had that pretty lengthy list of modes that was leaked a few days back that included things like Stimulus, which of course we just got, alongside Infinite Gulag, Realism, and Classic Battle Royale to name a few. Then there is also some officially confirmed modes that we have yet to see as well. Now, these modes are for multiplayer, so they don't necessarily tie right into the roadmap. But back when Season 3 first launched, exclusively on the European PlayStation blog of all places, it was mentioned that we would see Sabotage and Jug of War added into the game. Now, of course, Sabotage is a throwback mode. If you've played COD for a while, you are probably familiar with it. However, Jug of War is new-ish. The description is compete with enemy forces to capture a Juggernaut package, then don the Juggernaut and escort it to the base. So this is kind of like Safeguard from Black Ops 4. But we haven't heard or seen anything about either of these modes since that original post from PlayStation. So they are also MIA for the time being, but reportedly coming in the next few weeks. And of course, as we get more solidified information on this and anything else that may surface in the coming days, I'll be sure to keep you guys updated. Anyways, with all of that being said, that is effectively what we now know about the sequel to the first mid-season update, and what all the mini updates changed this past week. And that is going to wrap things up for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new here and you want to stay up to date with the latest Call of Duty news, intel, updates, leaks, and everything in between, feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. That way you'll always know whenever I upload a new video. As always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code IMMORTAL on all Scuff, G Fuel, Control Freak, and Respawn products. All of those links can be found in the description below. And once again, thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.